So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. Kind of a wet and messy day today down here at the wood yard. We had a bunch of rain last night, some pretty severe storms, some hail, but really heavy rains on and off for probably 5 or 6 hours. So I've been down here at the wood yard trying to organize, clean things up a little bit, and we're also trying out a new saw. So the other day I brought in like, I can't even remember, 8 loads, I think, with a dump trailer from over at the neighbors. And this morning I've been kind of going through that stuff, getting it organized. Got some firewood right there. Over there got some nice white oak saw logs. They're punky on the outside, but they're really nice on the inside. Right now I'm getting into some of this red oak right here. This log right here, it's actually pretty nice, but there is a split all the way through it, and you can kind of work around that sometimes on the sawmill, but this one starts out in the middle right here and doesn't really end up in the middle on that side. So that one is going to go to firewood. This one here was one of the nicest logs, but I discovered there is some metal in it at the far end there. You can see the staining right here. Now, a tree service, they took this one down, and the stump was left pretty high. So I'm guessing, it's hard to tell, but I'm guessing that metal was probably about chest or chin height. So if there's, say, 3 feet of stump out of the ground, I'm guessing it's somewhere right in here. So what I did, I measured off 8 feet, well actually 8.6. We'll make 2 cuts on this one, and we'll see if the staining starts to go away. If it does not, we'll make this whole log into firewood. But anyway, here is the new saw that we're trying out today. The MS661. This thing is a beast. It's got a 3-foot bar on it. I think recommended bar length for the 661 is anywhere from 16-inch all the way up to a 3-footer. But yeah, so far so good on this. I am still on the first tank of fuel with it. Now, since we know there's metal in this log, I'm going to cut this one with the 500i. I've got an older chain on it, and if I hit some metal, I would rather screw up a 25-inch chain than a 36-inch. After we do that, I think we're going to do a nice little comparison between the 661 and the 500i. And we'll do an apples to apples test. We'll probably run the 25-inch bar on both saws, same chain, and we'll see which one performs better. I know right now which one's going to, but there's a lot to talk about between these two saws. I think we're okay. The staining is real dark on this end right here. You can still see just a little hint of the staining, but I'm guessing the metal is somewhere right about in here. So we'll use this for firewood. That'll be pizza wood. This will be a saw log right here. It's a beautiful one. So I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to clean up the ends on this one here, get a look at it. And that's two really, really nice saw logs right there. These are big ones. All right, I got to tell you something before we get into the 661. This 500i, the chain that's on there, I hit some metal the other day, and I mean, I jacked it up pretty bad. And normally, I just hand file, and I was kind of struggling bringing that chain back. Well, you know what I did? I have one of those Stihl 2-in-1 sharpeners, and it's been sitting in the garage for a couple years. I haven't used it. Like I said, I just hand file. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this. And I'm telling you what, it worked wonders on that chain. It cuts as good right now as it did when it was brand new, if not better, after jacking it all up by hitting some metal. So the thing works pretty good. But anyway, on the right here, we have the MS661. On the left, the 500i. The 661, it's a 91.1 cc saw. 500i is 79.2, and as you know, the 500i is fuel injected. All right, now the 661, it's heavy. It weighs in at about 16.5 pounds. That's just a power head. The 500i, it weighs about 13.9 pounds. Now that may not seem like a lot, but it actually is if you're carrying it around all day. The 500i, 6.7 horsepower. 661, 7.2. Now both of these saws, the recommended bar length anywhere from 16 to 36 inches. I think what we'll do, we'll take that, we'll actually use the 500i first, and then we'll take that 25-inch bar off of it and put it on the 661 for a fair test, and we'll see which one's faster in this red oak right here. After we try the red oak, I think we will pull out one of these red pine logs and see how they compare in softwoods as well. so I just had to go up to my computer and download that memory card so I could get the exact time for each saw, and I discovered something pretty interesting. So in this 20-inch red oak log right here, the 500i, it took 14.3 seconds. All right, 14.3. The 661, I knew it would be faster. It was 11.4 seconds. Noticeably faster in the red oak. Now, the interesting thing, in the red pine that I cut, softwood, the 500i was 8.8 seconds. The 661 was 10.2 seconds. So the 661 is slower in the softwood and faster in the hardwood. Now, keep in mind the 661, it's not even broke in yet. However, it is noticeably faster in the hardwoods, but the 500's faster in the softwood. And my thinking is, and I'm not an expert on this by any means, I think the extra torque in the 661 plows through the hardwood a lot faster, whereas the softwood, you just need that speed of the 500i. At least I think that's what it is. Let me know what you guys think. I'll text old Buck and Billy Ray, see what he thinks, but I think that's what it is. 500i is just real fast, and that's all you really need in the softwood, I guess. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a logger, I'm not a tree guy, I'm not running these saws, 8 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. I'm a firewood guy and a sawmill guy, okay? So take it for what it's worth. But the way I see it is this: the 500i is going to do just about everything that you want. It's a great saw. It's my favorite saw by far. But for the bigger wood, the bigger hardwoods, the 661 is the way to go. That's just the way I see it. 500i is a great saw as well. And like I said, the recommended bar length is 16 to 36 inch on both saws. What I'll do sometime, we'll get a bigger white oak log and we'll put the 3-foot bar on the 661 and the 500i, and I think the difference will be even bigger. The 661 will even be much faster the bigger the wood gets. That's just my opinion. Mostly what I cut around here is hardwoods, although I do have a big pile of softwood here. This is all red pine, nothing real big. This will all go on the sawmill. But yeah, the biggest log in there is probably 23, 24 inches in diameter. Also, I wanted to show you this. When I went up to the building there, I grabbed this. Like I said, I had not used this for a couple years, but that chain, it was pretty jacked up from hitting metal, and I normally just hand file, but this is pretty darn handy. It really is. It brought that chain back to as good as new, if not a little bit better. I think I'm going to be back to using this more. But anyway, to kind of recap what I learned today here is, I confirmed both are good saws. They are. 500i is going to do about everything that I need. The 661 is going to be faster in the bigger hardwood. Like I said, that'll be interesting to try that 3-foot bar on both saws in bigger wood. We'll do that sometime. But anyway, I got to get back to work here. So these logs here, they are destined for the sawmill. You got the 2 big red oaks, 2 red pine. I got 5 or 6 other ones up by the mill right now. Tomorrow, Levi and I are going to crank out a bunch of that stuff right there. The sawmill, I have a Woodmizer LT50. It's kind of like the Wolfe Ridge log splitter. You can get a ton of work done by yourself, but like 2 people, you kind of get 3 times the production out of it, if that makes sense. But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. I appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.